Yeah.
Part 2 this year needs the most work.
Needs. That's the one that I'm like looking forward to redoing. That
Oh,
was my least favorite.
Oh, really? We recorded that at my work.
I liked most of what we did there.
This is a lot.
Yeah, than that for sure. Than that. It's just getting the takes, cause like Falling is a really good drum take.
I know.
So
But there's so many ways to think about it, because it's like the same reason I kind of want to still do some of the bass.
Retrack some of it?
Yeah, because we played that live now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like some of those other demos, it's like you're writing it real time, and there's a flavor that comes with that. But
That's just what I love about that type of music, is because it's just so inspired. When you're recording it and you're just kind of writing it as you're going, it's like, it's got an inspired feel to it.
it does.
Because anytime you try to recreate something, it's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Instead of just organic.
But then when you take that in the room and you figure out like how you do that live,
If
and
you
you
can
try to replicate the recording, but then it, over the course of a year of jamming it,
If you can recreate
can she go
it,
out?
Yeah, here, I was gonna take her out.
You were
I'll
ready
take
to
her
go.
out anyway. Let me take her with her.
I can take her out too.
You gotta take her
When those shoots are happy.
Yeah, no, I wanna take her out and let her eat. And it'd be nice to get some fresh air. I do have to rebuild this. But yeah.
Sick.
Oh, I do. You want some?
That might put me right in the pocket.
Yeah. It might. That's what
That's
it's
some
for.
good shit, man.
It is good shit. It's like that perfect level. It's like the perfect $30 bottle of whiskey is always my favorite bottle of whiskey. And that and arsenic. You have arsenic?
Oh, I've had that. Yeah,
It's like
I had that
32
at the Star
bucks.
Bar.
And that stuff's killer. I mean, it's like
Well, I guess it's local.
What you
too.
got there?
tin cans.
Oh, Tandy cup.
Yeah, yeah. Feel free.
Oh man, actually,
And there are some hoppy beers in there too.
really.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Love that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to go get another bottle. Luckily, that liquor store up the street is kind of badass. That big liquor store
Oh yeah.
up on 52nd. Have you ever been there?
Oh shit, no, I drove past it.
Yeah,
Let's pick that up.
they have a lot of stuff, and it's weird. It's like unincorporated something county, so their tax rate's like 5%.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Damn. Boy, that was smooth, enjoyable,
I love this stuff.
real nice.
It's like I was telling him my favorite whiskey is like the perfect $30 bottle, you know?
Oh,
I like the
Because it's
Breckenridge
like-
stuff too.
Huh?
I like the Breckenridge too.
Oh, I do too. When you get Breckenridge on sale and it's like close to $30.
Yep.
I don't know if I ever had that. Right?
That's killer.
Yeah. Hot tip.
I'd say it's like
Breckenridge.
those guys are kind of on the same shelf.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because I would say because when you start spending like 50 or 70 bucks on a bottle, it kind of has to be good, right?
Yep.
But like that
Scotch whiskey,
$25,
like
$30 bottle of
Like
bourbon.
a real high end lowland or something.
Yeah. I mean, it like I'm always disappointed if I spend that kind of money and it's not amazing.
What's that stuff? The Glenmorangie.
Yeah. Yep.
I used to do studio stuff and just like writing songs with this guy Justin Coakley, really good singer too, and we had some cool shit that we were doing, but his like marriage and his kids and like he got caught up in some dumb shit. But he would, every time we would have a rehearsal or studio session, he came in with a bottle of Glenmorangie and
Nice.
a bottle of Lagavulin,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
Scotch whiskey.
Totally.
That's super fucking strong. And dude would kill at least a bottle,
Good lord.
for sure. He's a big dude,
Right.
but just shit canned. Absolutely worthless by the end. I'm like, you're gonna drive home, dude? You might... No, I'm just gonna sit in my car for a little bit, man. Just sleep it off. Jesus, bro.
Jeez.
That's a
Okay,
little
I gotta build up Capitol Hill really fast here.
Nice.
Did you want a beer, Ben?
Maybe here in a little while. Not
Okay.
right now, though.
The only thing I ask is I found out the hard way, and I ended up having to take that rug home and clean it. But my mini fridge, I'm still kind of dialing in the temperature,
Okay.
and I had a beer that mostly exploded.
Oh,
So
shit.
I just, when you open the beer, do it in the bathroom above
Okay.
the sink.
Okay.
But I think I've got it. Well, if this one doesn't explode, I think I've got it dialed in.
All right.
So.
Well, I'll give you an update here in a little while.
Hey,
Oh.
no explosion.
Oh, he's already dialed.
You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Yeah. Okay. Everything's muted. See, this is where I wish I had the kill switch for the.
Oh shit! I keep on missing my cue.
No, I think what I'm gonna do. I needed to do this anyway, but I had the. I keep finding cables to fix problems and then I hide them back here to fix the problem. But I had the same problem when I was setting levels in the booth. The subwoofer would feed back.
Oh, no.
So I actually put the monitors, the second input to these monitors is on the alt monitor section. So I should just be able to plug this in and main alt monitor. But I made it so that I can bypass the sub just with a button.
That's where it's at.
So, because I was making the subwoofer feedback when I was setting up levels in the booth, but if you killed the sub, then you could use the monitors and use the booth for VO, which is really what I wanted to do anyway. All right. Long story short, now you don't have to open the, turn off the sub and turn it back on.
We're in secret mode now.
Secret mode.
What day is it?
Today is
Thursday.
Thursday. I've been thinking it's Friday for quite a while now.
See. Oh man,
That's
I gotta
right.
take drugs.
The dredge.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking the other day that for some reason that the idea for a band name of Money for Drugs,
Money for drugs.
there is no band name that.
That's kind of amazing.
Drug money. It could be if you made it amazing,
Yeah.
you know? Like, somebody could, maybe.
Like, what kind of band would that be? Punk?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, just creepy, cinematic, like, little fucking
I would love to do
IDM kind of
Money
shit.
for drugs, cinematic
Yeah.
music, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it just like sounds like script, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just
I am an
terrifying
award-winning
sounds great.
composer for film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I've
I've
worked
got,
with you before in your
credits.
music. Tell me more.
I'm trying to land another one, so yeah, that'd be perfect. You guys want to go on a cinematic journey?
Oh yeah. I mean, there are enough synths here already, but there are still more.
It's fucking
Like
dark
the-
ambient.
Yeah.
K-hole music.
Yeah. I mean, my buddy, I do a lot of work with my buddy Kale, and he goes by Mute Forest, but it's
CJ
like,
knows him, right?
yeah, I think they've met.
Kale.
Yeah.
I've heard his name.
But he goes by Mute Forest, and it's all like this
That's a
very cinematic, like broken tape machine kind of folk, indie folk, weird stuff. So it's always fun because like he's booked a session for next Tuesday, and all we're gonna do, like those are the sessions where occasionally I'll do stuff where I would be doing that stuff anyway. Like Kale and I'll get together, and he'll just be like, play with this fucked up weird delay for the next 30 minutes and make weird like atmospheric wind noises on that synthesizer and shit like that. And like, it's just like, I would do that all day long, every day. Like
Right.
that and cartoon voiceovers. If I could just do cartoon voice recording and like weird cinematic noises all day long, that's the dream. We need to find a fucking animator is what we need to do, because we could do some serious cartoon voiceover here.
Absolutely.
And like, you know, I would do voices, you could do voices, we could get all sorts of people to do voices.
Yeah.
I've been looking for an animator. There's an animator that works at our office as a content delivery person, but I don't know if she really has the animator skills. I'm gonna help her with her demo reel, so if it's awesome, I'm gonna be like, let's make a cartoon,
Yeah.
because that would be awesome.
Cartoons. Yeah, I've always
So-
wanted to get into that.
Voiceover stuff, yes.
I'm sticking to my roots. Music that scares children.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the deal,
I'm sticking to my roots.
right?
Money for drugs.
Script.
Do you want me to play you syntax beats, and you can tell me if you want to use them for money for drugs
Yeah.
while we're loading stuff up here?
It's like, I think I thought of it because I had a demo track that I was calling Sex for Money,
Yep.
which I just thought was hilarious. No, Sex for Bunny.
Oh, for bunny.
I was like, I don't really see anything like that.
I wonder if if the two programs are gonna fight, because the Syntact is technically running at 48K and that's running at 82.
You can get the Bad Bunnies to open for Sex for Bunny.
They should just
Do
name
a
one of
whole
their
hair
songs.
tour.
Is that one of your friends' bands? You should tell them to make a song that's called
Which one?
Is that one of your friends' bands?
Oh, that's my band.
Oh, yeah. Sex for Bunny, man. That should.
Sex for Bunny. Featured.
They should,
The
you
Bad
should
Bunnies.
use that.
Featured.
That's
Sex for
perfect.
Bunny.
Working.
Yeah. Which has been.
Sex for Bunny. It's your, that's sweet.
I think that was when they added Portamento, and so like the next 5 beats all have this like woo because it's like Portamento, awesome.
Snoop Dogg, baby.
Yeah.
Right? And that swagger.
That's dope. Oh, it looks like something happened.
It did. It said, why am I running at a different sample rate? Because this other program took over.
Why did you want to do that?
I think it's better now because I closed it. It's
Are you
the
feeling better, machine?
so the cool thing about these 3 boxes is that you can run all the audio back to the computer on one USB. So
Is it USB-C?
it's actually just 3.0 and it runs into a hub. But I don't even think it uses that bandwidth because they're all like 48K audio tracks, and so you don't actually run out even on USB 2. There's still enough bandwidth to run 12 channels of 4824 on USB 2. So I think it is probably USB 2 on the boxes, but between the 3 of these machines, you can get 33 discrete tracks back into the computer on 3 USB cables. So it's like this one, the one that I was just playing is a 12 voice box, and so it's got 8 digital voices and 4 analog voices, and all 12 voices can go back to the computer discrete. So we were just hearing the master output off the USB, but they're actually discrete tracks going back to the computer too. So you can break out any of those beats into single tracks with like kick, snare, all the lead stuff, and then mix the shit out of them pretty easily.
Sick.
So this is like a weird, crazy production universe just by itself.
Seriously.
And then this stuff you start adding in the other stuff, but it's like you could do 33 voices of whatever. You're limited by, it's only 4-note polyphony per track, but you have, and some of them are even just mono tracks, but you have 33 tracks, so you can make whatever you want. You just break out the chords and take 4 voices to make a 4-note chord. But yeah, it just goes, it's the rabbit hole. This is the rabbit hole section of things, and then this is like blips and bloops and noise.
It's an out of tune rabbit hole.
Oh, these are perfectly in tune. This shit is out of tune. This shit tuning goes out the window. Yeah, there is no, it's not Western music theory at all. At that point, it's all frequency based. So it's. CJ's really good at that shit because I still have problems. Like, I'll make a lot of really seasick, weird shit on this because, like, I'm dialing it in by ear. But my problem is I'll always, like, if I'm tuning everything by ear, I'll always
It's relative.
fake, like, a fifth or a fourth. Like, any perfect interval, I'll be like, oh, that's right. But it's not really right because now you have something on the root and you have something on the fifth.
He's got chromesthesia,
Yeah.
pitch,
Yeah,
so he can just see it.
pick it out of the air.
Yep.
We used to play that game in college where we'd just play chords for him, like on Casios, and just be like, here's a chord, and he would tell you the chord and the inversion. So you could invert chords and he would tell you what note was in the bass, and I'm like, you are a creepy human.
That's not fair, bro.
I wish he'd do that for me now. He's like,
It's one of those things where now he'd be like, no, I did that in college.
Oh, he
That
did,
was-
yeah.
That's what he would say if
yeah,
he said
it
it now.
was-
He'd be like, I don't do that anymore.
No,
I can
that
play to the root note.
that alone would be worth doing a YouTube video about. You know, just like tricks with CJ.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
That's the next step with all this nonsense. Is like,
We'll just play
where's the
different
green
tracks,
screen?
and then some of it will be microtonal, and he'll be like bad.
Totally. Does he get into any of the microtonal stuff? Not at all.
He can't.
Like hard no. Yeah, because the Dave Smith stuff, like those synths actually ship with, it's like 17 or 19 different tunings that are built into the box. So like straight out of the box, it's just standard, right? But it'll do just intonation, it'll do 19 tone, it'll do 21 tone per octave. It does all this weird shit, and it's weird as hell because it's a global tuning thing, so you can just switch it into 19 tone or whatever, and you start like playing melody lines, or you start like, it's really disorienting because octaves aren't octaves anymore. The octave is at 19 notes, right? So instead of 12 notes, it's now 19 notes.
It doesn't even lay on the keys.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, like,
more keys.
you start playing like, oh, this should be a major or minor chord. It's not. It's nowhere near.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
You could probably get a cool effect.
Oh, totally.
Maybe like with
Yeah.
swamps and stuff.
Yeah.
or-
Like the weird wind noises and whatnot. Like a lot
That
of
would be something that would be interesting
Magic.
to use with like something like Chat GDP. Like just start programming,
Oh, sure.
have it generate all kinds of
microtonal.
microtonal
nonsense.
links. You might be able. You might
Mhm.
find some gems a lot easier.
You
Than,
might.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like that stuff, it's interesting. It is really interesting. I don't know. The music I love, I don't think will ever be made by computers because there's so much. It's like using a Kemper versus, okay, that little tweed amp back there, that is a Psychobilly Guitar Works 10-watt tube amp. That amp wants to tear your face off at all moments in time. Joey would love that fucking amp. Like, the first time I played that amp, I'm like, I wish Joe was still around. Because that amp, like, it has a built-in fuzz circuit. It goes from
Fuzz circuit.
barely on to angry loud and then just gets angrier. but it's like so sloppy and so gross. And like that is kind of the amp where I was like, a Kemper cannot profile that because of all the noise and bullshit and wrong things that amp does. It's like computers don't make sense of any of that. Like you play, the Kemper's absolutely amazing. There's a Princeton over there, which is like my desert island go-to amplifier. I have a whole bunch of Princeton profiles that I've made and that other people have made and all this. And like the difference between the amp and the Kemper is the Kemper is perfect and the amp is fallible. Like the amp, if there's a lightning bolt outside and the power dips, like the amp reacts to everything that's happening in the environment. The Kemper is always perfect and clean, right? It's almost like, and if you want the part to be perfect, Kemper, Axe Effects, any of that shit is way better. If you want the weird anomalies and the weird crazy shit, it's like that thing. When I first bought it, I thought I bought it and I took it to the studio at work, and I plugged it in and I'm like, I'm gonna profile the shit out of this. If it catches fire in the next 4 hours, I'm gonna take it back because I had 24 hours to take it back. And I was like, and if it doesn't catch fire, I'm probably keeping it because it's so fucking weird and so like just homemade and janky and wants to catch fire, but it's a 10-watt all tube awesome amp that only that amp can make that sound. Like a Kemper can profile certain sounds on it, but it won't get all the stuff that's wrong. It'll like get it and kind of sterilize it. So like a lot of times people will be like, Kempers sound better than the original amplifier. There's an argument to be made that they do. It's more repeatable. It's more refined.
CJ would not like them clean up.
Right. But if you want the weirdness, that's the weirdness all day long. And that thing, you could buy 4 or 5 of those for the price of a Kemper. So you could buy 4 or 5.
Is there a
use a mic?
Yeah.
Is there a particular guitar solo on this album that you think would be cool to run through that, or is it more like a
Through the Kemper or through that?
through that thing?
Dude, through that thing, it would be like anything where you want
Just big
distortion and more distortion. Because it's honestly, it's got 3 different flavors of preamp on it. And I almost think, when I first got it, I was almost like, is something broken on it? But there are like 2 or 3 of them in the world, from what I've been able to tell. Because it's like this dude in Olympia, Washington, that was building them in his garage. And he's got like kind of a social media presence, but not really. And this one ended up here, and it's like, even if it's broken, it does it does this magical, awesome thing. We can plug it in later if you guys want to screw around for a second, but
Maybe
it's like
that part in Falling. There's tons of clean guitar in there, but like when we do the like that arpeggio.
Do you want to plug it in?
Well, I mean like later on.
Okay, because I'm like, Canva. You gotta play. I restrung the G&L. You gotta play the G&L through it.
Yeah.
So, and
Tara
hopefully,
said she's gonna give me the GNL, and you're getting the guild.
oh, did she talk to you already?
Uh-huh.
When did she talk to you today?
Yeah, that's today.
I tried to get her to come over because she sounded like she was having a rough time,
Oh yeah.
but she was going to work and she was gonna. She transferred the waterworks to me, so because like
Me too.
I was just texting her and I was
getting
like,
emotional.
yeah, totally. I mean, it's like, I know, and I really feel like, seriously, whenever you want to borrow, like, I don't want any of the 3 of us to really truly have any kind of ownership over any of that stuff.
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
if you want to use it, I still want to.
It's just to channel his energy, man.
Yeah, because she was talking about, did she tell you about the pedal board and the amp?
Yeah.
that she's talking about selling that.
Yep.
I think I'm just gonna buy it all.
That's what she was saying.
Like I'm gonna have to sell some shit because before
She
this
should
thing.
bring it down because I mean it is used.
Well, yeah, but I mean it's also like.
There's some tasty stuff in there.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I was telling her because I'm
And a
like,
THD.
yeah, and that cab, and I have another 2x12 that I actually like better that I was trying to get Joe. I was trying to get Joe to take my 2x12 before he got that 4x12, and I was like, no, you should at least listen to my 2x12, and he was like, no, it has to be a 4x12.
What do you have? Do you still
I
have
have,
that?
yeah, I do. I'm gonna bring it here.
How much
It's
are you
bitching.
selling it for?
Okay. I don't know if I would sell it because the deal with the 2x12 that I have is it's got 2 EVM 12Ls in it. It's got 2, do you know the whole EVM 12L nonsense? So like Electro Voice is the coolest company in the entire world anyway.
Yeah, I buy a lot of their shit.
But in the 70s and 80s, like the original Mesa Boogie Mark I had an EVM 12L in it. The Zach Wild started doing this stuff with Black Label, where it was he made the Black Label EVM 12L, but they're like largely regarded as the perfect 12-inch guitar speaker. They're kind of dinosaurs at this point because everyone goes for the lightweight speakers nowadays. It's like those neodymium magnets, the lightweight magnets. These magnets, the magnets on an EVM 12L weigh 16 pounds each. So a 2x12, the magnet weight is 32 pounds. But this thing has it's a homemade cab. It's got 2 EVM 12Ls in it. One of them's original, one's been reconed. And I put this nerdy jack plate in the back that will actually let you do it's 4 ohm mono, 8 ohm mono, or 16 ohm stereo. So you can stereo amp straight into the back of it's like this jack plate that lets you do all sorts of nerdery.
Okay.
So it is, but I do have an empty 2x12 cab back there if you wanted to put some 2x12s in the cab.
I actually used his crate for a couple shows.
Yeah.
I was thinking about buying it, but
Well,
it's just
and
big. And
it is big.
I want something smaller. Like how much was this guy? The Kemper?
A Kemper
just a
stage is
single
about 17. Oh, the cab?
Yeah.
The cab was,
It's just a single speaker, right?
it is, but it's
12?
powered. It's a powered cab. So that's,
12?
yeah, but that's for like profilers. It's for,
Oh, okay.
so you couldn't run ahead into that.
No, I would just use it as I would put the Axifix.
Yeah, you could do that. I wouldn't buy that. I would almost get the Line 6 because the Line 6
Mad Rush.
cheaper. No, the Line 6 power cab, like the
Howard.
212, and so the Line 6,
Is it 212?
they do a 212 and a 112. They do it for the Helix, but it's actually got IRs. Their implementation is a little bit different because this is built specifically for the Kemper. And so the speaker, they developed it with Celestion. It's called a Kemper cone, but it kind of does FR and does their own, it's their own impulse response stuff that is Kemper only. So if you're using an Axifex or using something else, like the Tech 21 Power Deuce is another really good one. That's a 12-inch 200 watt, which actually was the best sounding one for the Kemper other than this. I ordered one of those and it came with a broken pot and I sent it back, but it sounded fantastic. You just couldn't adjust the bass. They fucking Guitar Center they stabbed it with a forklift or a pallet jack and they fucking took off the bass hot but clean at the amp.
The power cab?
So yeah,
Pretty
that's
sweet.
the one for Axifex. The other one is the Tech 21.
Friedman has a
Yeah, the
a
Friedman
single
one
cab
is
or a single
nice.
speaker.
The Mission one is killer.
I have the mission.
The powered one?
It's powered.
Do you want that
Sync.
his cab? That 4x12?
Not really.
I mean, I kinda,
I
there's
just
part
need
of me.
something smaller
Yeah.
because I gig out a lot. So
Yeah, it's enormous. I was almost like the amps.
it'd be good, and it's like a collector, right? Like the blue ones.
Yeah, the
are-
blue Voodoos are great. I mean, it's a cool.
Yeah, no, I
cab.
never had a problem with it. I just
Yeah,
that's the single factor
it's enormous.
that
Yeah,
I like. If she gifted it to me or something, I would lug it around.
Right.
But
but otherwise,
I don't know if I want to pay to lug it around. Like
Yeah.
just need something.
no, totally. And like, yeah, if you're doing like Axe Effect stuff or Kemper stuff, like powered
There's
cabs,
one
are
on
where
here
it's at.
for $540. How much is what's this?
Those
here?
were, that's almost 750 or 8.
Oh, okay.
new.
Okay.
So, but that one,
Huge.
honestly, this one wouldn't be the one that you'd want because you can't
Right.
use any. The cab. Kemper does this weird shit where it's not really a traditional cab IR.
Right.
The Power Cab Plus has normal cab IRs, speaker IRs built into it, which is kind of the one I would get for the Axe Effects because I don't know how Axe Effects. How do they handle cab sim? Is it all modeling? Is it all like?
Think so. And I sometimes I disable it.
Yeah,
If I put it
right.
through a cab, and
Yep.
I also have they're the matrix units.
Right.
For, power amps for the access.
Oh, totally.
In case, because that's what I was using. to
Yeah,
power,
through the Blue Voodoo. Yeah.
Right. So
Cool.
I would use that, and
How?
it
What?
sounded wonky if I didn't adjust it.
Totally.
Because the power amp was like working with the cab to
Right.
create its own sound.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Because what are those? How? What are those? What are those rated at? Those power amps, the Matrix
I
ones.
don't even know. I'd have to look at the box.
A couple hundred watts probably.
It's the 800 or something. These look pretty sweet though. These
They
2x12s,
Yeah.
power cabs.
I mean, they're
$1,500 of course.
yeah, and
All
if
of
you
those
get the,
model is it FRFR?
it is FRFR, but it'll also do the Power Cab Plus does its own. They have IRs built in, so you can either run it FRFR because that's where this really wouldn't help you because it is FRFR when you disable. Kemper calls it what the fuck do they call it? Damn it! Now I can't.
There's MIDI ports on this fucker.
Yeah, you can switch because you can put
This
a
is
MIDI.
already better than the mission.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right.
No, these sound amazing. The missions arguably sound better.
Well, they keep it's shit out on me twice,
Really?
and it's just sitting there.
Is it the powered one?
I believe it. Well, it has
Yeah.
a switch on it.
Yeah.
So
And it shit out twice?
twice. I brought it to
Man.
Nash or what was that one off Alameda Soundtown?
Yeah, totally.
And they botched it. It worked for like a couple days, and then it went shit. It went south, and they moved
Yeah, where did
like
they go?
super south.
Yeah.
They
There's a
moved-
guy up north, like in Broomfield or Arvada, there's this guy named Tom Boffett.
Okay.
That's the guy I would take it to. Or there's
I was gonna do National Speaker.
Yeah. There's another guy, there's another repair place that's like the authorized repair place for all things digital. And
Oh.
they're up in Broomfield, like off
Okay.
of 116th. They do like Nord and keyboards and all that. So
Nice.
they may be. Tom Boffitt's like an old school amp guy. But Tom's also funny because you'll take shit to him and you'll be like, can you fix this? And he'll open it up and look at it. And if he doesn't feel like doing it, he'll be like, nope.
This is unfixable.
Yeah. So, but the other place, the place in Broomfield's like, they do all the Nord stuff and DSI stuff and whatnot. But that, yeah, Kemper does their own deal. So it's like, unless you're running it with a Kemper stage, I wouldn't get that. But that is the
What is all
best.
this shit in here? There's a
I didn't
USB
realize. See, I
connection.
just thought it was like a.
There's a MIDI in, a MIDI through, a USB.
Yeah. Have you seen them though? I mean, it's basically like
I
a
haven't
computer.
educated myself at all.
So
Yeah.
it's not fucking around.
Yeah.
It's basically this is your signal chain. It's input, 4 effects before the amplifier and cabinet, 4 effects after, and then the output. And the output controls, you can actually be monitoring to that, headphones, and recording all at the same time because it's got a lot of I/O on it. And they actually just released, Kemper's whole thing is it's this crazy German dude. Do you remember the Access virus synthesizer?
Yeah.
So there was a synth that came out in the late 90s that it was like one of the first digital analog modeling kind of synthesizers. The guy behind it is this crazy German engineer guy named Christoph Kemper, and he did that for a while and made some money, but there were people griping about the Access, and he kind of was like, I don't want to do the synth world anymore. And he jumped ship and basically designed these, but this is the 3rd generation of it. But the craziest thing that he's done, they still build them in Germany. He's got this workforce that it's all people, it's German people that he knows, and they have not released a 2.0 anything. All the software has been free for 10 years. So if you bought this in the original run, they had one that's called the toaster that's like a desktop unit, and then they had one that was a rack mount unit, and then this is the stage that came out. But no matter what one and no matter when you bought it, you can still put the latest software on it. All the software is free. They keep adding features to it. He's like very against companies that kind of planned obsolescence and make a piece of gear and sell you a piece of gear and then abandon support. They've been supporting the shit out of them for 10 years.
That's pretty cool.
So, and they keep adding features, and some of the features you're like, you guys are fucking mad scientists, because this is the amount of future proofing and thought that went into it. Because do you know the neural DSP stuff, the quad cortex?
I just learned about
Dude,
it
I wish
through
I had
camp.
that. I would sell my Axe FX in a minute if I
Right.
had the funds to get one of those.
So the quad cortex, like, the whole thing with that is that it's this amazing, super powerful thing, but their marketplace is kind of funky, and the support side of it is a little weird. They're kind of a software company, but the hardware is amazing, right? But they came out with their thing, and it had this touch screen, and everyone was griping because these screens are just like, they're really readable and they're great, but they're very primitive compared to like a quad cortex. And like a week later, Kemper was like, oh, there's an iOS editor and an iPad editor. And everyone was like, wait, these things have Bluetooth? They built Bluetooth and Wi-Fi into them and didn't tell anyone.
That's fucking
And
awesome.
then they were just like, hey,
That's
oh, now you have a Wi-Fi enabled app editor thing, and they keep adding to that, and you're like,
That's
Jesus
amazing.
Christ. And then at NAMM this year, everyone always bothers him, and they're like, are you making a new version? Is the Kemper 2 coming out? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, but now your Kemper is an audio interface, and we've also done this thing called liquid profiling, where we've it's now a model of the tone stack on top of the profile, so that your knobs, your bass, middle, and treble knobs are accurate to the amplifier. But it's like all these features, and they're just software updates, and it's like, you guys are fucking mad
That's awesome.
That's
scientists,
the way to do it, man.
genius people.
Awesome.
I love how they're not making you upgrade.
Yeah, they haven't. You could buy, the craziest thing about the Kemper is if you bought the original toaster 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, but if you bought it the day it was released, you can still put the software on it that they released 3 weeks ago that make it an audio interface. You know,
That's
it
so
wasn't an audio interface before. And then Christoph Kemper, being this like crazy German engineer nerd, he was being interviewed, and he's like, oh yeah, I've started just like, I plug my headphones straight into it and listen to music on it because our digital to analog converters are better than most audio interfaces. And he's just like, yeah, you can just use it as a headphone amp. And it's like, it's the most expensive, it's a crazy expensive headphone amp, but sure.
But it also does that.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, and the stuff they keep adding to it is just like, I keep waiting for them to be like, Kemper 2 is out. And they're like, no, we're just going to make this one better. And now the processors that are in there are kind of antiquated. They're kind of old, gross processors, but they're still able to
Great.
do cool shit. Because the big thing, so when, so Strymon and Eventide kind of started this whole delay and reverb. Oh, fuck. Delay and reverb resolution or revolution, where like this is a Eventide H9, which is a crazy everything box.
Yeah.
But like the delay and reverb on this and like the Strymons is the stuff that everyone really, really likes. And people were griping because the Kemper delays and reverbs were they were okay, but they weren't great. And they overhauled the shit out of them. They overhauled all the delays, all the reverbs. Then they did the fuzz and the drive. So they like completely overhauled the effects section with the existing hardware. And it's just like, it now sounds, I feel like the Eventide and Strymon stuff still sounds a little bit better, but the Kemper stuff is fantastic for what it is and for being just on that system, and once you get used to using it, like
that sounds incredible.
They're awesome. And I mean, just the whole idea of the company is awesome, and the way that they haven't, because so many companies like this, these guys are a perfect example. This came out and it was $150, and then they dropped the price to $100, and they came out with the 2.0, but you have to buy a new one of these. And they tweaked the memory slightly, and they did a lot of like new programming on them, but realistically they're just making e-waste, right? Because it's like with computers where you buy a computer and 5 years later it's a paperweight, you know? Whereas like Kemper is super cool because it's awesome that they're just like, no, we want to make something that you buy it once and you use it for 20 years.
That's
you know?
the future.
So, because that's like the
loyalty.
whole microphone thing, right? Like that preamp sitting over there, that preamp has been the same preamp since the 50s. These microphones have basically been the same design since the 70s.
Universal audio.
Yeah, stuff used to be,
Of value.
yeah, you would buy it once, you would use it your whole life.
You wouldn't
you know?
phase out the product that you sold to people.
Totally. So, but nowadays it's like,
Fair game.
that's what you do. So,
Turns out the marketplace doesn't fix all the problems.
it does not.
You know, it's really controversial to say, but
I don't know, that's when you get me, like, I'll start ranting about my leftist philosophies. So,
well, sounds like I need to go get some more coffee then.
no, that's where the
Stay up
leftist,
all night.
that's where the leftist philosophies came from. It's the
Coffee.
coffee shops.
Coffee.
That's where the militia starts, man.
It's not even, I mean, and then the funniest thing is I've gotten to the point where I feel like I get along better with libertarians than I get along with like,
Anybody else?
well, and it's like, because I'm so far left, I've gone right. Is
It
that?
goes full circle.
It
for
does
sure.
eventually down
I mean,
there somewhere.
I always thought that. What was it? I can't remember what the fucking term is. Like authoritarianism,
Mm-hmm.
and then like communism on the other side. It's like the same thing,
Totally. Right.
but they just have different labels
Yeah. Yeah.
and different philosophies.
I mean, it's practically the same, right?
but the outcome is
Yeah.
typically the same.
And it's like oligarchies, for example.
The argument's always
One
how
is
do you
very
get-
left and one is very right,
Yeah.
but they're both extremist.
Right.
So I mean, whether you're Che or you're fucking Putin,
Yeah. It's pretty much two sides of the same coin.
People are still
Yeah.
dying unnecessarily.
The idealism of communism is certainly not like the CCP.
Applicable to
Right.
You know,
to money hungry
Like
like
fucking
control.
owning the means of production and distribution of wealth is certainly not like child labor jumping out of windows.
Correct.
To free
Right.
themselves.
Correct.
Right.
And it's also like my whole thing nowadays is it's like I would describe myself as a leftist, but I am a Western socialist leftist. So it is more Germany, Scandinavian countries. Healthcare is free, education is free, everyone has a right to a place to live, medicine and education, right? What you do with that is up to you. Innovation and capitalism are still kind of valued. I do think that America is like in late stage capitalist hell, and there are a lot of problems with this country that need to be looked at very
very
closely.
There's not a lot of ethical restrictions, and you
Right.
don't want to get too over restrictive because then you're right.
Right.
You know, because
Totally.
then you're over regulating shit.
Yeah.
It's authoritarian.
Yeah.
And
But-
people like commerce. There's no reason
Right,
to
right.
like take that away.
Sure.
But there's a way to like decide
Has to be ethical.
more logically like what the value of that like equals.
Totally.
So like to go full circle, it's like the value shouldn't be just creating e-waste so that there's a ruling billionaire class
Right.
that leaves us in a fucking dumpster.
Right.
You know, the goal would be that like everybody has the processing power for the needs that they're for their like need, you know,
Yeah.
that like
What's
concept of
required.
like, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
like everybody has the ability to do what their gift is.
Right.
And work
Totally.
and work becomes
Well, some
something
people just
deeper
don't
than
do
just
anything.
fucking trigger.
Correct.
That's the fact. Like,
Those
Correct.
people like need
Yeah.
help finding out who the fuck they are.
that is also
but some
correct.
people just won't ever. Like some people, like I do know some people, and there is a percentage of people that just will not do anything. Yeah, you can't force them to.
Yeah,
either.
that's
The
true.
abundance
That's true.
of-
It's like loss prevention. You have to factor in the reality that some people don't give a shit about contributing anything to society or to anybody. And
Right.
you can't really you can't force them to
Nope.
think anything else.
And that's okay.
But you want to, like
because
you're saying,
the
you want to promote
abundance-
them. You want to promote a healthy environment to be creative and to innovate and to do things. It's got to be consensual.
Totally. And like the people that don't like produce, it's not like anybody's under obligations to do anything except for like
Right.
shit and drink water.
Totally.
You know, like,
Yeah.
but like,
Sometimes
you know,
that's just
like
what
the
it is.
abundance of others, there's always going to be people that are really interested, they get excited, and
Yeah.
then like a society that like
They're probably on the
promotes that
spectrum.
their work, they can create enough abundance for
Dude, I think
They don't
everyone in
have to,
this
like,
room is
hoard
on
all
the
that
spectrum.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I know I am for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I'm lumping you in, but I mean,
To
anyone that
qualify
gets
for
along
being
with
on
me.
the spectrum is you have to be very interested in things.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I was like,
that sounds dangerous.
Wow.
Well, and it's also like my sister, she gives me so much shit because I always tell her I'm on the spectrum, and she's like, "You are not." I'm like, "No, I am."
I'm definitely. on
And
the
she's
spectrum.
always like, "No, because you hate people, but you're extraordinarily social and friendly, and you can play the game." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's forced."
It's
I mean,
learned.
a lot of the time, totally, it is
It's
totally
learned.
learned, and but her whole thing or my argument against it, I'm like, no, I'm totally on the spectrum. I mean, limited area of interest, focus of interest. Like some people like penguins and animals, and some people like synthesizers and noises.
Yep.
And it's like, yes, I'm interested in
You're
all
not
sorts of
speaking my
things.
language.
Right, totally. And it's like if you want to talk about synths or guitars or drums or whatever,
Mhm.
basses, I'll talk to you all fucking night long. If you want to talk about like sportsin', unless it's the Nuggets get a pass. But
They are killing it.
well, and I've got this. I have decided, and this quote has been circulated many times. I can't remember if it was Doc J or Bill Russell. Some famous basketball player said basketball is jazz. Basketball is jazz.
Basketball's jazz.
Like basketball at the highest level, triangle offense, Tex winner. That shit's jazz.
That's some chord or some poetry changes.
That shit, it is. It's like
No,
it's
fine,
fucking.
bro.
And sometimes I hate the squeaky squeak of basketball
That's
shoes.
where it's really contemporary jazz.
I do love muting basketball games and putting on like Ornette Coleman, and it's just like it's the greatest fucking thing in the entire world.
Is that Michael or Magic Johnson that said that?
No, I feel like it was
Or,
like Bill
isn't it from
Russell
that
or
era, though?
it was someone from that era. It was like Dr. J or Bill Russell or it was like one of those legendary. It may even be someone older than Magic, like, but it was one of those like.
Phil Jackson.
Maybe. I think it was someone loosely associated with Phil Jackson. And Phil
What
Jackson
else?
kind of makes me sad because he's like, he got old and he said some horrible shit recently. And it's just
That's
like,
nice.
oh,
Oh no, it's like John Wayne.
no.
Like,
That happens to everyone.
Wait, what did the guy who was born in
Chicago.
1918 say about the Jews?
Well, it's like Eric Clapton got into all that shit, right? And
What
it's
was
like,
that about?
He said some horrible shit during the. It was, well, I can't remember because I feel like it was immigration into England or something, and it was something horribly
Oh, like in the 80s or
offensive.
90s?
No, recently, like
Oh,
a couple of years ago.
Shit.
Yeah, I mean, no, but it happens to everyone, and it's like, and because the problem is, it's
Say
like,
dumb shit.
Yeah.
well,
Fucking-
it's because everyone's recorded all the time now, right? I
Yeah.
say offensive bullshit 25 times a day,
Oh,
but I
me
also
too.
try to stay off social media
Me too.
because I would just piss people off.
I don't espouse my opinions and beliefs on social media. I'm not retarded.
I guess I'm streaming this though.
No, I mean, that's the dangerous part because now whoever's watching it, they're like, Jesus Christ, I thought these guys were supposed to be recording a record. Now they're talking about capitalism and Western socialism and how they're
let me
all on
just
the
tell you guys
spectrum.
right now, I'm an idiot. Okay.
I'm just
Do
an
not
audio
take-
engineer.
I
Leave me
am
alone.
not,
Maybe we should just follow them
healthcare
tracks.
professional. I am not. I do not take my.
I'm not a
advice.
healthcare professional. It's okay.
What is it? The Globetrotters. It's very jazzy. Globetrotter theme,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and that's like
You guys should cover that.
instantly basketball.
Oh,
What you think
totally.
of
Yeah.
Those guys and their squeaky sketchers on the court.
I don't like the squeaky squeak. Okay.
Is that sub on or is that somebody driving by?
That's someone driving by.
Wow.
The sub is actually bypassed at the moment.
Is there a session going? Do you have that one?
What?
You said you were on.
Oh, yeah, I've been live this whole time. It's the same link. Like, I put it in your timeline. It's only like I bet you it's wrong.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. So I will kill. Okay, the only thing. Are we going to redo this? How'd you do the shakers? Is that all MIDI?
So I'll just send
So
it
you-
back to you.
Okay, cool. The only thing, okay, do you think it's going to be hard to, because hopefully like all the start and stop times are the same, so that they all just line up?
Yeah,
I mean,
so
otherwise
like,
I'll be able to figure it out, but if we're like sliding stuff around, that's where it's gonna get hard.
I don't think we'll need to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like
No, there's only one time.
the
signature.
MIDI. Yeah, like
And maybe what we do,
it'll just be the same.
honestly, like the day that we do that, because I'm gonna have all the drums on these other sessions, and I can send them back to you if you want.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
And then I can, well, you can have those, and I can just send you whatever without the drums,
Or you could send me
just the final product.
the final thing with the drums, and I'll just pull it in. But what I was saying is, when we do that final day, you could almost just bring your computer, and I could give you another monitor,
Okay.
and we could set up on that desk and just like
Transfer it.
just make sure that everything is
I like that.
happy.
Yeah.
Because I can even take a feed off your interface and run it through this, and
Okay,
be able to
cool.
like A/B stuff,
Nice.
which would be killer.
Sick.
Because it's like that's the part of this that was missing with me like working at home is like projects take collaboration.
Yeah.
Like
No, I hear you.
being able to talk to each other is it's like a 2-second fix if we're all in the room together. It's a 2-hour fix if
Right.
you're like, no, move that thing this way or move that this way.
I don't think we'll have to move.
Share your screen.
But
Totally.
Let's meet on Zoom.
Totally. I hate that shit. I don't know. Like, it's fine, but do you want me to leave the shakers in for the take?
sure.
And I'll just take out the rest of the drums?
Yeah. Scooby doo, dooby dooby doo. Scooby doo, dooby doo doo. Scooby doo.
What else? Do you think, is that going to be hard to come in just straight
That's fine.
off of
It
that?
won't even be in there because it's faded.
Okay. Oh, yeah, the fade doesn't come across. We'll have to fix those later.
The faded.
Yeah, fade ins, fade outs. If it was,
You said on the stereo bus.
yeah, if it was stereo bus automation, none of that came in.
I'll send you that for the final
Okay.
stereo bus automation for the fades. And
Yeah, because
whatever.
even if you just bounce me a version of it, I can match it for the fade ins, fade outs.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you could just
usually do
bounce
that.
me like an MP3.
Okay, cool.
But we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
That's
that'll be easy.
yeah. So this should be good. I've got tracks armed. Oh, and I bet. Did it fade out too?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, here we go. That was
It'd
killer.
be like that, huh?
I know.
Just like one take, fucking
Yeah.
donezo, huh?
Yeah. I might do a couple more just for
Yeah,
the fuck of it, but
that was pretty.
yeah,
fucking
that was
solid, dude.
that one's pretty easy.
Yeah.
That one has less hard parts than downtown.
That felt good to me.
Yeah,
Like
that was
there,
pretty good. Couple.
are there things with the mix just kind of overall?
Oh yeah,
They're
like
right.
yeah. This one I didn't even. I just pulled this in, so
Yeah.
like it's pretty raw.
The guitar came in all hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can pull
It
that
didn't
stuff
flinch
down.
at all with any of that shit.
Nah,
It's
it's
rock solid.
It's pretty.
Do you want me to pull that lead guitar down? It must be lead guitar 2, and
It doesn't really matter.
it doesn't matter.
Nah.
Because yeah, the mixes are at this point they're not. We're kind of like
Hot.
undoing a bunch of stuff to redo stuff, so
Yeah.
it's like yeah, this one didn't even get. I didn't have it pulled in at all. So
Scratch.
Yeah. is it? Do you want to do another?
Yeah, let's do another just for sure.
Okay.
Safety.
That was great though. That take was fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, that was.
And this time I won't record over the shaker 2. I fixed it, but it wasn't in there on that.
Okay.
The shaker 2 we actually blew over.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I accidentally armed that track, but we won't do that this time.
Wait.
But now the everything's dialed in pretty nerdy like, and it's the kick was a little low. I did pull that back quite a bit. That's fine though. All right, here we go.
That was less good, but there
I
were some
still
moments.
like the first one better.
Yeah,
yeah.
Definitely.
No,
You want to do
seriously.
another?
Let's do one more and then we'll call it.
All right.
Can you turn the overall up in the headphone?
Yep.
It's kind of hard to like just play through the end, huh?
Yeah, well, I know when it starts to fade out, so it's like,
Right.
I don't really
So
give
it
a
doesn't
shit
even
after
matter,
a certain
you know?
point. Just, yeah.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Cool. Here we go.
Just a little break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Because I kind of turned around and was like, do I need to stop?
Nice.
I don't know.
Sweet.
That's solid.
Yeah. That one's not worried about that one.
no. Like between those two takes, there's definitely more.
Yeah. I think we got 3. 2?
2 in testing.
Okay.
But now we're like
Testing.
dialed in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like just setting stuff up and tweaking things. I almost don't even want to switch that to a clip-on.
Just keep it nice and crisp.
Yeah, because everything else is working great now. Well, want to do another? What do you want to do? Do you want to plug that amp in?
Yeah, boy.
See what you need. Crunch, and more crunch on. See if we can light it on fire. Really, what I want to do is give you the trem bar for the GNL and see if, because I feel like the strings only broke because the strings were old. Because that setup on that guitar is like crazy dialed in. So if the trem is a little bit off, I want to know so I can fix it.
Right, yeah.
But I don't think it's. Oh yeah, there's the big can in the corner, or there's that 6-pack that's upright. Has a bunch of beers in it. Yeah, the Melvins.
You don't mind, do you?
No, of course not. No, you need some string cheese or salami. There's also string cheese and salami. Or a meat stick.
I want some crackers.
Or some crackers.
Some nice crackers.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course. Is there another one that you'd want to look at?
I thought there was another one in there that I got one take. Maybe Broadway could be cool.
Or you want to do
What would be
Sheridan?
or West Colfax. I think West Colfax is the other one.
That was the other one. I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's
call there.
a good one. I think that's another one we could
Yeah.
knock out of the park tonight.
Well,
Still have all this gunk on my cymbals from when Nick sprayed all that shit on it.
oh yeah.
Anti-reflector spray.
You almost need that. Have you ever used those? There's like the crazy green foamy cymbal cleaner that you like douse them and put them in your bathtub, and then you rinse them. And I mean, they're like perfectly clean afterwards. But a lot of people, there's like that whole crowd that doesn't like. They think patina makes them sound better and darker. Like, is this my ride?
Yep.
This one. This is the perfect example of patina. It's like, this is probably has never been cleaned since the 70s. Yeah, like that. But this cymbal cleaner stuff, I've used it before and they look brand new.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just never give a shit, and I'm one of those guys who's just like, yeah, that's character.
Yeah, who knows? Totally.
I
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah. That ride is
That's a great
a
ride.
special ride cymbal.
I like it is. This is solid.
Yeah, it's an old soldier.
You want it to be. I think you want a ride cymbal to be somewhat thick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do like the jazzy rides, but not for.
I like
Anything that I
the
play.
biggest Omni they had. That one's pretty cool.
What was that? Like 24 or 26 or something?
Yeah. It was like it was like a crash / ride.
Hey, monkey.
Those are great.
You're a good girl. West Colfax?
That'd be sweet if we could do that. That one's pretty dialed too. You
Yeah,
looked
I
at
think
that
that's the
mix,
one
right?
that yeah.
Then you spent time with it. Sheridan was the one that you said you were pretty excited about doing too, right?
I probably would have redone that one anyway. Once we got to it. I don't know. Maybe I was tired or something
Oh,
at
yeah.
that point.
This one
Well, we were like 9 hours deep.
I
or
think
something.
that was the last one we did. Laggy for sure.
I'm gonna step out there for a second.
I'll join you.